Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. I have a fascinating guest in studio. It's Ellie Stewart, and she's an energy practitioner and instructor at the RUAH Center. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Now, I don't think many of us are really that familiar with what you do. And so tell us a little bit about what it means to be property clearing and things like that as an energy practitioner.
Okay, so in property clearing, what we, this particular method that I teach and actually do is called the RUAH method. Okay. And what we do is harness enough energy or enough power to be able to push out discordant thought patterns that actually accumulate in the space. And so you don't really think about our words as energy or having a frequency, but they do. And some words, when we say them, are stronger than others. And in order to move that energy out, it takes an enormous amount of power. And so that is where the quantum light actually, the technique actually came about. We harness that actual energy so that we can push those discordant thought patterns, low vibrational forms out of that space.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. How do we know when we need something like this? How do we know when we need that property cleared?
You know, that is just so interesting. We don't follow our intuitive nature enough. And we all have walked into spaces that we just know are not quite right. Or if you have trouble sleeping, sometimes that can happen. You would call me. Or say, for instance, you bought a foreclosure. Usually the energy that I have seen in that space, you have sorrow, you have anger, deep anger, especially sometimes when the homes are abused. We don't think of our home having consciousness, but it actually does. It's the space in which we dwell. So that's when someone would call me.
And why is it important to do something about this? Yeah.
Well, you know, the space that you occupy actually affects your behavior. You know, we think about going home as being a safe haven. In my house, people come over and I can't get rid of them because the energy there is so inviting, so welcoming. And so in order to for people to really thrive, you need to be in a surrounding area that actually complements that happiness, that love. And a lot of our spaces don't. And so when that happens, it can affect the physical body as well as the emotional attitude. I know I have some companies that will have me come in as an aromatherapist and give their employees little pickups with aromatherapy in the middle of the day. What that does is it shifts the energy in the environment. That's great. But just think about how if we were in an environment that was constantly berating us or not wishing us well, how that would affect us. It affects our physical body. I had one lady that had told me she had not seen underneath the dark circles of her eyes in over 13 years. But after I cleaned her house, that particular situation started to disappear, and it got lighter and lighter and lighter as her house cleared.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, you know, as you said, our house is our home, so it needs to be a positive space.
Yes.
Thanks for stopping by and giving us a little bit of an insight into this and how important it is.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with more Business Connection.